Here we are for our live match preview for the upcoming game of Southampton versus Chelsea at the mighty St Mary's Stadium. As always, smash like if you love the Saints. And if you're here for excellent punditry, as always, I'm joined by Jack.
How you doing,
Jack?
Yeah, mate, not bad, not bad. Feels like I've just spoken to you for a few hours, but you know, it's still fresh.
We have. We've just been doing an opposition preview on another channel for about an hour and a half. So it's a good job we made it actually. But here we are.
This was the least stressful setup to do a Matchday vlogs ever because everything was already up. It's not like 5 minutes before, like, right, what do I have to do? What's going on?
There we go. Welcome to everyone in the chat section. Let us know where you're watching from, what platform you're watching from, what planet you're watching from, what continent of the world you're watching from. We're trying to draw together some positives because we are on a horrendous run of 6 losses in the league on the bounce. So we are going into this fixture with high hopes. So let's have a quick look back at the Wolves game. Welcome to everyone and join us in the chat section. Let me just give a quick shout out to everyone who's joining us nice and early. Always good to see you guys. The only reason I'm still watching the season. Oh, that's very nice of you to say.
Not Minamino.
Sure... Yeah. There we go. Shout out for Jack's background.
The boys
looking good. She just put on weight.
I know, that's crazy, doesn't he?
I don't know how many times I'm going to use that joke, but it's going to come out a few times.
Yeah. Just the boys. Just the boys. It's probably the biggest announcement for us today. Because after, I didn't really care about the press conference, but when I heard that these two boys are in our corner, finally, mate, it's not just us and Craig David.
Exactly. There we go. Good stuff. So yeah, we're going into this game. So we're going to have a quick look back at the previous fixture. So it was a Wolves at home. We ended up losing the game. What did we lose it? I can't even remember now. What's wrong with me? 2-1?
Don't know what. Now you've said it. No, I
don't know. Can someone tell us what the score was?
What was the score? Both got a bit blank there. This is the thing. We've used a lot of energy talking about Saints stats, and now they've all got 2-1. There we are.
It's 2-1.
I remember now. I remember. Let's get the heartbreak back into us. This is not good punditry, man.
It's not a good start. We're 3 minutes in, we forgot the score of the previous game. That previous game, thank you, Harvey. Harvey's got 2-1. Thank you, mate. That previous game, it feels like, looking back at it, that maybe we made too much of it. I think we lost that into a few narrow margins there, and we held off Wolves pretty well. They had a quiet first half. Okay, they had a quiet first half. I'll take that. Second half, they were much better. But unless that freak decision, I mean, okay, it's arguably a handball by letter of the law, but it's blasted at them from 2 feet away. They get a penalty, score that, and a great goal by Neto. So I think the margins are a lot smaller than I think perhaps the meltdown depicts. I mean, would you agree with that, Jack?
I wouldn't say that it was so much like a meltdown last week. I think it was more we were all just frustrated that it's happened again. I don't think it was. I think it was just another knock on from another week. It's mounting tension. I don't think the game itself, it was just a game of two halves, as many games of football are. It's a hard one to take because of the decisions again. But you come out of it just thinking, I just want to see more from us.
Yeah,
like there are players on that pitch that could give, they can give and go and just take more out of the game. It just seemed we weren't in that second half at all. So it's hard to take, but it was more I think it was more frustration that caused that meltdown than anything else, rather than a game that went completely against us.
Yeah, and we have lost 6 on the bounce. I mean, the other contentious decision was that other handball, and here we are yet again. Listen to football pundits on Matchday or wherever talking about the decisions in the Southampton game and saying actually they were wrong, and it's happened again. It happened in the Aston Villa game. It happened in the Man United game. Less said about that, the better. And it's happening in this game. So we're not completely bonkers on this channel. We are giving some grounded advice here. But looking back at those 6 previous fixtures, you'd arguably say, and bear in mind that our last points was that Liverpool win at home. You'd arguably say, okay, Leicester away, that's pretty tough. Will we realistically expected to get something from that? Possibly, maybe. And then you've got Arsenal and Man United. And the only other games within that, I think we've kind of fluffed our lines. I mean, like the Aston Villa game, we should have got something out of that. I think a lot of Aston Villa fans were kind of shocked that they got a win. I think they were shocked they got a point, some of them, from that fixture. Yeah. And that Newcastle away game just completely messed that up. I mean, that was a game for the taking. And had we not done the mad decision of Jack Stevens and the right back, we would have won that game 2-0 or something.
Yep.
So, I mean, it is bad. 6 on the bounce, but
and it's not getting easier.
It's
not about to get any easier. This game, in the show that me and Mike just did, we put a lineup together, and I think that lineup to me is what we should do. Like, obviously, but that's why we picked that lineup. And I'm going to be really annoyed if Ralph starts Jack Stevens at right back on Saturday.
Yeah.
Really, really annoyed, because we know that we can play that 5 at the back, because we did it against Newcastle and it worked.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying we need to change the way we play football, and it's not, and I don't think it's a plan B, but I think that's how you adapt. You have to adapt our game plan to that formation, because that's the best way to do it.
That should be our plan B.
That should be our plan B. I mean, I know Ralph doesn't want to play one, but we kind of need a plan B for these situations.
Mm-hmm.
Because our plan A doesn't work without one player, and that's Kyle Walker-Peters. If Kyle Walker-Peters is not there, or Bertrand isn't there, we can't play that system completely. And
well, I think you can. Yeah, you're exactly right. If Kyle Walker-Peters there, that's where the problem lies. So we are talking about the fact that Kyle Walker-Peters, he was injured. It's a hamstring injury. He's definitely out for Saturday's game against Chelsea. He's quite probably out for the next 3 weeks. God, keep it light, Mike. Flipping heck. So that is where the question mark is. I mean, what Ralph is going to do in terms of making up for Kyle Walker-Peters not being there. So we alluded to it on the channel, just to give the viewers on this channel an overview. We were talking about the back lineup being Bertrand playing more of a wing back position, and then working with 3 centre backs, whether it be, we went with Bednarek, Vestergaard, and Salisu, and then having Ward-Prowse on the wing to give a bit of experience to the area, because that is where Thomas Tuchel is going to target. That's where he's going to go for.
That's where he's going to. That is where our problems will come from, that position. And I'd rather have Ward-Prowse playing that role, not trying to play his standard position. We're just going to have to try and live with a game with somebody else there and just keep it. We know we can do it because he has, when he puts Zaha on his pocket, he's really good at that role. But we have to let him play that role and not have to make up ground in the midfield. If he's having to pull double duty, it's gonna fall to pieces. And it just works better if he's there.
Yeah. So we reckon that. And then in the middle of the pitch, we're looking at Oro Romeo and Armstrong, and then up front, sort of kind of like a 3 formation with Danny Ings way out front, with Minamino on the right and Redmond on the left. So that's what we were kind of looking at. But like I said previously, if we end up playing Jack Stevens, it's just going to be horrible. I mean, literally, I'm telling you now, if Jack Stevens is in right back, it's 2 goals easy. We're going to concede in the first half.
Yeah, it's just going to happen. As a fan base, we are all concerned about Oliver Giroud scoring multiple goals against us because that's what he does. But then you have to think as well. Then you got Werner as well, and you might have Pulisic. There's so many threats in coming at us in this game that if we don't learn from the United game when we're playing a lot of world-class players that are going to can come at us.
Mm-hmm.
Like you need to take the lesson from that game, and if that means playing more defensive, that's the way we're going to have to play. I still think you still play Ralph Ball. You still play that exact same way, but you just have to adapt it slightly.
Ralph Ball.
Ralph Ball.
Loving that. Quick question here: who would play centre mid? We would say Armstrong would fill in that position with Romeo. Just quickly answering that one. But going back, I mean, my hope is that Chelsea, the squads, will almost feel like they've had a bit of a false dawn because yes, I think they've won 3 away on the bounce or something like that. They're on a 5-game win streak in the league since Tuchel's come back or come into the management position. But they've played Sheffield United recently. They played Newcastle at home on Monday. Newcastle didn't even play a striker. So, and then they were pretty flat in their FA Cup Barnsley away.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't have the heart to tell them.
I actually watched that game, and it was
awful
for the side they had, and like to see Tuchel be there at that game. It's like it's like welcome to English football, and look how dry it is. Look at what it can be, mate.
That pitch was horrendous, though.
It was fantastic. It wasn't as bad as St James's Park, but it was pretty bad.
Yeah, it was. I turned that game off. It was boring. Bored me to tears, that game. So that's something for me to turn off football off the TV. So there we go. So I'm kind of hoping Chelsea might feel that they have a bit of confidence when actually they've got a few weaknesses in the squad. But for me, I'm not too worried about Timo Werner.
Really? Not after the 2 goals he scored last time?
One of them had a handball in the build-up.
Okay, fair play.
And he's hardly banging them in. I mean, he's nowhere near Golden Boot contention, is he?
No.
And you look at the amount of money that have been spent on the Chelsea squad, and you're thinking, "Wow, Timo Werner's coming into the Premier League. Let's see what's going to happen." Not really done it, and I'm more worried about the likes of Mason Mount and all those fast wingers that are going to sort of burst down the right and the left and sort of get balls into the box, because that's when we concede, isn't it?
Yeah. That is where we concede. It's such a hard game for us because you are right in that sense. Where Werner, he's not come up to scratch, but Chelsea under Tuchel are on that current manager bounce of they're in form, everyone's playing for him, and also Tuchel, being in the Bundesliga and coming from that little background, players like Havertz and Werner are probably going to be the ones that step up from him a bit more than maybe the Mounts who you would have thought were going to, for Lampard, were the ones that step up. I think you're going to see those players start performing a lot better. Yeah. And Ralph and Tuchel playing each other already in the Bundesliga, they're already familiar with how each other plays. So out of all the teams in the league and the managers in the league that Tuchel has probably had, experience, who has an idea against, outside of the top 6 who he would have met in the Champions League, will probably be Ralph. So there's a team that he knows what to expect and what to come at. It's going to be us.
Yeah.
So, and that's what scares me the most, really. And then with all the talent that's going to come on the pitch, like we are the team that those talents finally pop out. Look at Havertz. Last time we played him, Havertz hadn't scored. Like he was really in bad form, and he still got those goals. Like that's kind of what happens. So for me, the only way I can look at this weekend as a good score is they're a team that's it's 5 games unbeaten now in the league since he's come in. Is that
5
what
wins.
It is? 5 wins.
5 or 6 wins. I can't remember.
He's loving life in English football, and the most upsetting thing would be if the game that's still on a 6-game losing streak beats you. That's the most Premier League thing.
Yeah, and
that's in my head. Like that's what I want. I want Ralph to it not be too cool that's figured Ralph out, but it's Ralph. That it's the Ralph. It's a big game for Ralph because I think he has to be the one that plays the tactics right. And I think that 5 at the back and playing slightly different like that will be the thing, because Tuchel was going to come in knowing how Ralph's going to play. So maybe this tweak of lineup could be that slight change of tactics that might just do something for us.
Yep. Yeah, I would hope so. I mean, that game we played against Newcastle at home, and we played that system. I thought we looked pretty comfortable. I mean, okay, it was Newcastle. They're perhaps finding their feet still. Weren't playing as well as they perhaps could have done, but we looked competent despite the lack of the fact that we didn't have Danny Ings in that side. We didn't have, some of the other first team players. So who knows? Who knows? I'm feeling like you say, it's exactly the Premier League thing to do. Is 6-game lose streak, and then you get a win at home against Chelsea. But I do feel that I wanted to ask them on that channel, how happy they were at the moment that Frank left in terms of and the change of management, and I'm sure they're happy now. But
from what I can tell, I also did another podcast yesterday with the Blues, the Blue podcast.
Jack's been busy this week.
I've been very busy this week, all the content, and the way they kind of made it sound is that life with Frank, they were happy to accept that and happy to get involved. It was this whole new club routine. As soon as he went and Tuchel's come in, they've gone back to that's Chelsea. You sack a manager and you get in and you want success. I think everyone for Frank's tenure kind of a little bit forgot what Chelsea are. Because they tried to sell us on this whole new way of football, and we all sort of bought into it. But as soon as it went, I think all the Chelsea fans were like, right, so back to business then. What's this manager like? It's just ruthless, because that's kind of what Chelsea are, ruthless to their managers. And I think that the fans, just by proxy, have to be ruthless and like, okay, it's gone, that's over now, let's do this.
Yeah,
because it's worked for them. It's worked for them.
It has. Abramovich rarely makes mistakes, and when he does, he can afford to make them. So
it's
the difference.
It's kind of crazy, but it's the way it is. But that's why it's another reason to be scared of Tuchel.
So yeah, I am still wary. But they're going to play a back three by the looks of it, and we tend to do okay in terms of breaking down teams that play like that. It's when we play the likes of Burnley and Palace, where we're all playing against 4 6'5" centre backs, that we tend to struggle. But
I mean, you can argue that is what happened in the Newcastle game. When Newcastle went ahead, we called it back, and as soon as they go super defensive, and put it behind, we just can't. We find it really hard to break down. Whereas teams like Chelsea and the big top six, they're not going to be the sort of teams that are just like, right, just put 10 behind the ball and close it. Well, unless it's Jose, obviously. We play better against these sort of teams because they attack and we can press, and it's more of it plays more into our hands a little bit than in that Newcastle game would. And we say that against Newcastle going in anyway, of like, this could be a boring game because this is how they play and we can't break down a defense. So if it's going to be more of a game where we can get them on the attack and on the break and use the press well, should be fun. And then, it's how sturdy is the back line going to be? And that's why Jack Stephens can't start at right back.
I think in terms of the players that we've got out, I'd be worried. I mean, I love Jack Stephens as much as the next Saints fan, which ain't a lot, is it? Let's be honest.
He's tumbled again, hasn't he? He's tumbled.
He's drifted a little bit. But it does worry me in terms of like when Kyle Walker-Peters is out, we're really exposed in that area, and we just need to solidify. And it just, for me, it's a no. And it would severely merit. The only thing that I can see it working is that if he puts James Ward-Prowse in that right back position, either as a wing back in like a back five sort of setup, or as just a straight right back. But looking at their attacking threat, I would just worry if we do that. So.
Yeah, it is a concern. I've not watched all of the press conference yet, but when Ralph was going through the injuries, who hasn't, he was like two the really important players that are out, and the first name he said was Diallo, and I thought that's because he would play Diallo in that centre position with Romeo, and he would drop Ward-Prowse back. That's the first thing I thought when he said Diallo was the most annoying one to be out.
Well, didn't he say that Diallo would be a right back replacement?
Oh yeah,
he's played in there before.
Well, yeah, I guess that even if that's the case, like you can clearly see that he doesn't want to put Stephens there.
No.
because that is like I feel like the Diallo being like that could do it. But also I didn't really like Diallo playing fullback.
No. Yeah, agreed.
But maybe that was because he was playing really well at the center of the park, and it was so different when he moves up.
And we didn't have Romeo on the pitch.
Exactly. So maybe it might be different.
Yeah. So maybe that was the reason why the Maitland-Niles deal didn't go through. Because Maitland-Niles wanted to go to a club to get in the Euros, and he wanted to be guaranteed first team football, and he would have been third choice right back.
I guess
Which
so.
would be mad. Can you imagine Southampton having a third choice right back?
It is not. I get it. It's something that we need, but Nathan Miles, the offer that's there, it's not right for him. I can see why it's not right for him.
Yeah.
I get it because he was almost getting regular game time for Arsenal. Why would he go and get not regular game time for Southampton?
Yeah.
We need a signing. That's what we need. We don't need a lone player that needs time. We need a signing.
Yeah, we do. Just putting up some of these comments here. Thanks everyone for joining us. Concerns me that some fans actually want Ralph out. We were chatting about this earlier, weren't we, Jack?
Yeah.
And it's scary to think how far we will trust Ralph, but the other option is unthinkable.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we've lost 6 on the bounce. We've lost heavily amongst those 6, and yet only a small number of Saints fans are saying Ralph out.
It's the way to look at it. If you say Ralph out, and quite honestly, you can't give me the answer of who you want to replace him.
Yeah,
because you can't give me a better name than Ralph that's out there to replace him. And if you're like, you could say like, I don't know, Eddie Howe's like, well, no, Eddie Howe's not better than Ralph because Ralph's still in the Premier League.
Yeah,
like, there's not a better man out there, and what he's doing, like, it goes deeper than a poor 6 games. It goes deeper than that. So it's Ralph all the way, baby. Ralph all the way.
Absolutely, Ralph in squad. But how far are we prepared to take that? It's a scary thought.
If Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has taught us anything, it's just to stick with it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the madness of this entire season. I mean, we started the season, it's going to be Ole's last game, and now they're teetering at the top of the table, arguably, in contention to win the Premier League. I don't think they will. I think it's Man City's all day long.
But arguably, like, if you were to put it out there, who's the better manager, Ralph or Ole? What would Ole do with this Southampton side, and what would Ralph do with that United side?
Well, 6 weeks ago we were going, oh, Ralph's doing a bit too well. He's, United are going to be looking at him. It's stupid, isn't it?
It's crazy. Yes, this is Shinsuke Minamino, our new biggest supporters. I think the Southampton press office realised that me, Mike, and Craig David weren't enough of a famous names to sort of. So they employed these guys. I can't wait to see him start for us. Super strong style all the way.
I love that order. You, me, then Craig David.
Yeah. What's he done recently?
You got a point. And we wear a Saints shirt more often than he
does. Yeah, exactly. When was the last time Craig was at a game? He doesn't go. He lives in Miami, poser.
Exactly. So here was the point we were talking about in the opposition show on the other channel is whether or not we think Forster will start. I still don't know on this one, and I think Ralph will receive a lot of backlash if he starts McCarthy and we lose. But I can see him still starting McCarthy because I don't think he thinks there is anything wrong with Alex McCarthy, and I think he's just. I mean, what do you think, Jack? I mean, the Pedro Neto goal, where he got inside, running along the goal line and smash it in at close range. Arguably, he could have done better at that, but is there enough to make a change?
Here's the thing: okay, you can take the Wolves game out of it. There's loads of other stuff that McCarthy's done, and like you said, he tries to play in that back. He tries to make it a back 5, and it's clear he's not quite good enough to do that, and he's poorly positioned. Now, I know that Alex works better for the system that Ralph's got, but I'd rather them take the goalkeeper out of that and just have Forster in his right position. I feel like you don't have that passing option with Forster, so that's not a. So you take the positioning thing out of it. He just has to cover his line, and I'd rather just have that and have that security and have the blame to be squarely on he didn't make the save rather than he passed it to the wrong person or he was dillying with the ball on the edge of the area or he's run out and he's completely missed it.
Yeah.
I don't like. He's annoyed me too many times with that. Now it's a bit like Stevens. Stevens climbed so far up in our books, and then as soon as he did that dilly dallying on the halfway line and losing it, it's like, well, what have you been working towards? Because that's the first thing you had to take out of your game, and you've just done it. And McCarthy keeps doing that. So for me, I would start Forster. He's all clean sheets this season for him.
Yep. Yeah.
And like, you could say he wasn't tested, but you've got Arsenal, Liverpool, and Wolves within those games. So, they're better than McCarthy.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But I can just see Ralph just sticking with it and that really aggravating the fan base. Do you know what I mean?
Ralph,
They're just gonna.
It's that thing of Ralph's. Ralph is set on this is how we do things, this is how we play, and this is the first team. But at the same time, you've also got to look at the run and look at the things that have happened.
Pretty freakish.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's McCarthy. And to be honest, if we get to the end of the game and he hasn't done anything, you're not going to be angry. But if you play that game and we concede because of him, it's going to be now. Ralph can't give people reasons, and I feel like McCarthy is a reason. Like we said, we're all Ralph out here, but there are those idiots, and starting McCarthy and him conceding is giving those idiots fire. And the more they get fire, the louder they are. And one of those idiots will go put a Ralph out banner in front of St. Mary's, which no one else is there to stop him.
Yeah, and to be clear, we're Ralph in, by the way. We're
Ralph in.
Yeah,
we are Ralph in.
Ralph out. We're definitely Ralph in.
We're Ralph in. Yeah, we're definitely Ralph in. I just feel like that's like McCarthy is gas on the fire when it's unnecessary. If you start Forster and we concede, you can take the blame. There's no blame on McCarthy, and he comes back in next week.
Yeah,
so
it's difficult because if he does go with Forster, then the message that then sends to Alex McCarthy is improve, but it then means you don't have that consistency in the Premier League starting squad. But I don't. Yeah, we shall see. We shall see on that one. Just reading a few more of these comments. Foster's made 5 easy saves in 4 games.
Listen,
he hasn't had a lot to do.
I'm not overblowing him, but I would say, we've played better in those 5 games where he's not, where McCarthy isn't passing out from the back.
Yeah. Yeah.
You take an element away from the game where you can see stupid goals, and those stupid goals don't get conceded. And with him, you just take that away. You're right, his distribution isn't good, but as long as he's stopping shots, I don't really care.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you see that Barcelona? That Koeman Poch game the other night?
Yeah, Poch really took him to task, didn't he?
He did. There's something inherently wrong at Barcelona. A team that lost by 8-2 last season, by the way, and they had 11 players on the pitch. So
I would like to say as well, I think that game also sums up the order of who the better manager was at Southampton. Because Poch was amazing and Koeman was great, but he was really good with a Poch team. So what Barca really need to do is get Poch in for a season and then get Koeman in.
Absolutely. And I don't ever see Koeman coming back to Southampton, to be quite frank. Because he knows the investment possibilities.
I could see him not coming back to the Premier League, to be fair. He's not welcome at Southampton, and Everton don't like him.
Yeah, and they spent a lot of money with not a lot of results to show for it. I'll come to it for Shea. It's kind of odd that we haven't seen Shea in the starting squad. But I think that we've kind of been playing Danny more up front and on his own, with Redmond and Minamino on either side of him, sort of dropping back a bit. But
it's gone for it. It went when it was Shea, Walcott, and Ings. It looked like we said. It looks like a crowded box. They're all sort of trying to get in the same position and do the same thing. But if you play Ings at the top on his own, and you have, I think Minamino is kind of showing a few players in our squad up just a bit. I think his position in the games, what he's done, the way he gets in at goal, just and obviously dropped off second game of Wolves, but it kind of shines a light on players like Redmond, who it's not a certainty of being in the team, but now you've got this guy next to him who's like a miniature world class player. I think it's going to shine a light on a few players that are like, okay, I'm in the squad all the time, but this guy's just come in and showing us what the business really is. So I'm hoping he really makes a big difference. But I think him, Ings, and Redmond is a better start, and I think you can give maybe Gineppo a go in Redmond's role. Those three are really good at running at players, and I think that's been something that we've not been doing. And
absolutely. So it's a bit of a mystery, like what's going to happen on Saturday lunchtime, the 12:30 kickoff. I think now's the perfect time to jump into our audacious score prediction section of the show. So be sure to smash in your score predictions in the chat section from wherever you are watching from, whilst me and Jack go through ours. Is it my turn or your turn?
I
already know what yours is anyway, because you said it in the previous show.
Oh, so wait, is your score changing?
No. Is yours?
No.
Oh, good on it.
No. Right, so we both know. So okay, well, I said 3-0. But that was an audacious. I'm on an opponent's channel.
Yeah,
audacious 3-0. But
I thought that was a bit like 3-0. What?
Yeah. You know why? Here's the thing. I knew that you'd give a sensible answer. I knew that you have the face of the channel. It's like, it's okay. Mike's going to give a normal answer. So our front, it's 3 against 2 here.
I loved it. I loved every bit of it.
Our chest out. In fact, if you actually remember, they said, I said 4-0, but 3-0 is what I said. 3-0 is what I said.
You went 3-0. You got no fans.
You got no fans. You want some? I'll give it to you.
Exactly. Which absolutely love doing that. And as we say to any fan channel, unless you just have to be obscenely biased towards your club, otherwise you're not doing it right. Isn't that right, Jack?
Absolutely. So, on the other podcast, I did say 1-0. I was like, Mike isn't here. I'll give a normal one. But as soon as you're there, I'd have to do that. Yeah.
Dude, never do that. Just do your thing, man. That's.
Don't worry. The rest of it was all me. But I thought, right, predictions. Let's not make yourself look like an idiot here. Let's say 1-0. But 3-0 is what I'm going for, guys.
3-0. Amazing. And I went for a 2-1 win because I could see us conceding because of that right back position. So I've gone 2-1 and Jack's gone for an amazing 3-0. Who do you see scoring in that 3-0 win? Mate, if this happens, I'm going to clip this up something chronic. It's going to be incredible.
Right. All right. Someone's going to, I think Ward-Prowse free kick. Let's think about this because I want to get it right. Ward-Prowse free kick, Minamino goal, and Danny Ings. Yeah, I'm going to go for the Holy Trinity.
Hang on. Ward-Prowse free kick.
Ward-Prowse free kick, Danny Ings, Minamino.
Wow. In that order?
No.
I reckon the Prowsey free kick second, if anything.
I know. I reckon it's third to tie the game up.
Oh, yeah? Nice.
Imagine if that happens, Mike. I said you best give me a call if that happens because
I'll edit it to make it work. It's fine. Yeah. No, absolutely. I think it's an ideal time to bring up the fact we smashed 400,000 likes on TikTok.
Do you know what? That was one of the big questions that they had for me on yesterday's podcast. I was like, "Oh, so really? Tell us about TikTok," and I was like, "Well, it's an app."
Yeah, we'd surpassed 11,000 subscribers and 400,000 likes. It's mad, and we've had 100,000 watch minutes on this channel. So, thanks everyone. That's mental. Yeah, that's absolutely insane. So, thank you. Right, let's get into everyone else's score predictions. As Jack's already said, he's going for a 3-0 What on Saturday. I'm going for a 2-1 win. Let's get into some of these. Jack is going for a 2-0 loss, sadly. He's being a bit realistic there.
I don't think so.
I don't know that. Yeah. Tristan's going for a 2-1 Saints. We don't draw. We don't do draws on this channel. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, it's a good point.
Draws.
It's a good point. Or It's not a good point because we never get points. It's either 3 or nothing. Tam Trainer is going for a 1-1. Zandif's going for a 1-0. What was the other stream channel? It was, what was it called? Turn off the coin. The other side of the other side of the coin.
The other side of the coin, and I was on one called the Blue Podcast.
Yeah, we've been busy.
Very busy.
We're really busy. Ziggy, we're either losing 4-0 or winning 1-0. I can relate to this a lot.
Absolutely.
I think this is we're either losing 4-0. That is Jack Stevens is in right back position, and we just do the same thing we did against Newcastle away. Or it's a 1-0 Danny Ings strike. So, but I'm still going 2-1 because I think we'll concede. Come on, you Saints. Jolly good. Crazy Fox, 2-1 Mighty Saints.
Right.
Tom is praying for a 0-0.
Tom, take that off of there and put that. We don't do draws. We just said it, mate. We just said we don't do draws.
Oh, dear. Hang on, I just need to do something.
Although I would say a 0-0 would actually be quite good. As far as things go, you're not allowed to put it as a prediction, but in the bigger scheme of things, 0-0. It would be bad for me and Mike because it's nothing worse than sitting through that sort of game. But at the end of the day, a point against Chelsea would be quite good. Would be good.
It would. I mean, I'd take a point right now. Would you?
No, I want 3.
I want 3. Absolutely right. Sorry about that, everyone. I don't know what came over me.
If you're gonna wish, we're proper.
Absolutely. Aim for the stars, you might land on the moon, as we always say. Dexter Venoms, we will lose, unfortunately, but 2-1, hopefully. Hooray! Kind of what I'm thinking. And Tom sends his apologies for being a rational kind of guy. Fair enough.
Sorry, what team do you support in your rational? Okay.
We're here for the excitement. That's why we do it, Jack, isn't it?
Absolutely.
The mad thing of it.
I'm just excited for it, mate. Excited for more football.
It's going to be buzzing because
now I've spoken about this game so much this week as well. Now I'm really invested in it.
I know. I just looked up at the clock. It says 37 minutes. Have we been talking that long?
Apparently so. I think because last time we had to listen to other people, so I think we have.
Yeah, we're not good at waiting our turn. I was going to invite another channel on it, but I just was greedy with the time, and we've lost heavily recently, and I just can't stand it.
I don't want to hear. I'm sick of explaining why we're bad to people.
Was it like 3 minutes into their show? It's like, so tell me about that night. Really?
You know what?
Soon.
I think the first question they asked you was, "Oh, so you confident about the game?" And okay, Jack. So tell us about the 9-0. It's like, really? Chose me, did you? Chose me to talk about it. Thanks.
It's like asking us about stats. Like, don't do that. If you hear the stats, you're on the wrong channel. I'm telling you now. This is pure gut instinct on this show.
Yeah, I feel like it's a little bit like we bring to other channels. I feel like I get the sense that when other people go, like when people go on other people's shows, they bring stats, have good things to talk about, knowledge. Whereas we're just sort of like, this is what I personally think, and also I love Yoshida.
Yeah, these are my emotions. This is what I've seen from the press conference.
Yeah,
fill in the rest.
This is how Ralph plays football. This is the best I can give you. Go. What was the score on the weekend? I can't remember.
Yeah, that was a bit of a worry at the start of this show. We can't even remember, but it's kind of interesting. And actually, I think the formations on the screen thing, I'm going to try and implement that onto the next episode we do. Certainly for the preview show, just kind of fun to look at the formations, or perhaps not fun when you think of the players that we've got out. But arguably, you take Kyle Walker-Peters out the mix, and it did make me realise we got a fully fit squad.
It did, yeah. It's the
first team. First team.
There is a squad there, and it's, to be honest, when we did our starting 11, you looked at it, you were like, this isn't a bad team to start off with. Like you could do something with. There is promise in that team. It's just that if he plays something different, we're both going to be like, oh, okay, so we're not right then. Let's see what happens. And if it is that thing of Steven starting, It's going to be heartbreaking. But then again, you never know. It might be now that Vestergaard's back, Bertram might go out, or I'm sorry, Bednarik might go out, or Salasu. Like there might be now. Maybe now Salasu's back, he might just start on that wing anyway. Who knows? Who knows?
He's pretty quick. I don't think he's right back material, but in the same way that neither was that other player who's forgotten the name of. Who I did a video on. Help me out.
Danzo.
Kevin Danzo. That's it.
5 reasons to forget Kevin Danzo.
There we go. Indeed. Question here. What do you think about the Saints app? I haven't downloaded it yet. Have you?
Do you know what? I saw somebody post it on Facebook and you should download this, but the thumbnail for it looked like it was going to give me malware. So I was like, I'm not clicking whatever that is. I didn't look like an official app, so I don't know if they were just posting a weird thing, but yeah.
Yeah. It's always a bit wary of those sort of things. Coming in from Tom. Apparently does it right. Get to bed. There we go. Praying that Chelsea decide to play Kepa. Do you know what? On the other channel, they were thinking that might be the case because they were deciding on who Thomas Tuchel's first choice keeper was, but he has come out and said Mendy. But I'd love it if Kepa came on. Can you see that happening?
Well, I didn't think that he would start against Newcastle, but he did. Some bit of me hopes that they will take Atletico into account on the weekend, in the week.
Yeah.
So there might be a few gaps in the squad, but the problem is every squad that these guys made, it was like, well, that's a deep squad, and then they would change a play, be like, oh, so you've just changed Giroud for Pulisic, okay, cool. It's just like they were just making subs, and you're like, oh my god, they've got 2 starting 11s if they want to.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really they've got options among options. So the only one that we could really pray and hope for is Kepa, because Kepa is shocking, and we could punish that. But I don't think Mendy's insane. I don't think Mendy's Alisson sort of levels. Well, sorry, not recent Alisson form, but
You say that though, but he did make a couple of great saves against them. But he just had a couple of howlers, and then it's all a bit of a problem, really. So, James is in the room, late to the show. Come on, James, where you been? We were thinking, in terms of the right back position, we reckon that it might be exactly what you said here: 3 at the back, and then the wing backs. That's what we're hoping. What we're severely worried about is he's going to put Jack Stevens in right back, and we're going to see a horror show like we did against Newcastle.
The other thing I'm slightly worried about is that he leaves Ward-Prowse in the middle and he starts like Gineppo fullback. But do you know what I mean? He starts a winger fullback, and it's like, no, I'd rather experience and defensive than I would elasticated forward player. Like I know what I want, and I just want us not to concede that much.
That'd be 2 quick yellow cards for Gineppo, who plays in that position. I'll tell you now. A little explanation for your background. Who are these? Can I do my Yoshida joke, Ian?
I mean, I'm sure, but I don't think these guys didn't hear that one, so go for it again.
Yoshida's put on weight.
Yep. So this is they didn't like it. They didn't like it. They didn't like it. This is Shinsuke Nakamura, and this is Big E. And they've come out today saying they're Saints fans. And a big,
2 of the biggest Saints fans there are.
2 of the biggest Saints fans. They've actually got a channel called MatchDayVlogs. This is it's just me and Mike.
They're here to take over the show. Oh gosh.
Yeah. We would not be able to stop them. No, BT did this big push today where because obviously it's Elimination Chamber on the weekend. Even I'm plugging it here. So WWE, BT, all these WWE wrestlers are saying who their favorites are. If you're wrestling fans out there, there's a guy called Baron Corbin who's the worst, and he's a United fan, and there's a picture of him in his United shirt. And it's like, that is the worst picture ever. I hate him as a person. I hate him even more wearing that shirt. He's almost done the perfect thing. He's made me hate him even more. Good at his job.
Absolutely. Coming in from James. Where did it Valerie go? Yeah, it's a mystery. And I think it had a knock-on effect for the Maitland-Niles deal that didn't happen because he was never going to be first choice or second choice. I think Diallo was going to be a second choice right back because apparently he can play there as well. So that's why that one folded.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I heard. I don't know if have you listened to the Ugly Inside podcast this week?
I haven't. No.
It's really good. They've got Carl Anker on it from The Athletic. The guy who used to cover us. He was making some good, and he was obviously talking a lot about the United game, and he was talking about Ralph and Yankowicz. It's like it's such a funny thing him starting him. It's like and like how many different ways you could look at what happened with Jankowicz in that game, and why didn't you just let him go? like the fact that he kept him, like you let Valerie Vokins go, but the one guy who asked for it, you kept him in, and you started in this game where we really needed other positions covered. It's just,
but we would have been desperate.
Yeah.
Bear in mind, like Romeo was out, Diallo was out, Teller was out. So who would have played there? Smallbone's out. So it's like, who are you playing there? It's like
anyone, just anyone.
Could have been Jack Stevens there.
Yeah, imagine that. Imagine Jack Stevens plays midfield. They put Ward-Prowse fullback, Stevens in the middle. He likes running with the ball every so often.
That'd be a horror show. That really would be a horror show. There's loads of questions coming in tonight. Look at this. Do you think Ralph will play Minamino right back? That is a far stretch. I can't see him going back that far.
Yeah, no. I would say you're more likely that Redmond would go back than Minamino. I would probably say, but
yeah.
I wouldn't. I think Ralph understands that we need to score goals and that he is a most attacking option. He's the one player I don't want to see out of position. I think if we do win tomorrow, Saturday, I think that Minamino will be a part of it, and I think there's some supporters that don't quite understand how good a player he is and what we've got and what we've got right now. I think there's so much potential in him. I'm just really excited.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know how I feel about our Japanese signings.
Absolutely. Final thing. I still haven't sorted out I got an email.
Yeah, I got the first one. I've not seen I think I read it was on the 22nd that they're sending out the next one.
Oh, okay.
I think they're waiting for Boris, I assume.
Fair enough. No, I'm going to roll over.
Yeah, roll it over. That's what
Put it towards some new players, please.
That'd be nice.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Just sign Minamino. And a couple of fullbacks.
Yep.
Even just potential fullbacks, like even if it's a couple of championship, potential players. We just need cover there.
Yep. That's an interesting squad there from James.
I mean, it's not too far off what we've said, except he's put Redmond in that wingback position, which I don't think would be too bad. Because I feel like he would need to be more attacking, but he will have to drop back. But if he's back all the time, that could pull people out of position a bit too much. It might be better if he's there. But I don't know. But I think just Ward-Prowse, we all know, can put a forward in his pocket. Who doesn't want to see James Ward-Prowse with Werner in his pocket? That'd be great.
Well, it'd be either Hudson-Odoi, wouldn't it, or who's the other? Oh, you might play him deeper actually. Just trying to think. Yeah, who knows? All is possible. There we go. And maybe look, they're alluding to some more information on what's the plan. The plan back to reality on Monday. So we shall see. But what will be. But we will be back there eventually.
One day. Maybe.
In time for the FA Cup final. Yeah,
they're going to put our leather sofa in. Now I thought about it, I want it. Yeah, we're back. We're going to be back for the FA Cup final. Us against United in the FA Cup final.
If they really wanted to give us the sofa, where our season tickets are, they could actually position one there.
They could. That's what I mean. You could quite easily do it. That's
Southampton, get in touch.
By the time we go back, they should know who we are. I want to come back and people be like, "Oh, thanks for doing our job."
Yeah, you're the guys that just chat opinions.
Listen, we love Tom Deacon, but you guys have got something special.
I'd love to have Tom on the show. That'd be fun.
I think he's technically been on the show.
He has. And other times when he's not even known about it, he's been on the show. So there we go. Tom, if you're watching, get in touch.
Love you, mate.
Mad. Right. Well, we've approached the 50-minute mark, which is very long for us. So I'm going to wrap it up here. Any final thoughts, Jack?
It's just this weekend. it's all about Ralph, and I can't wait to see what he does. This is his time. I think this game for him. If he can get a point out of it, get point or 3 points out of it, everyone can start to look at it a bit different, on sturdier ground. So that's all I want: sturdy ground by the end of the weekend.
Yep, absolutely, and it's a good job that we are in the position we are in with the run that we've had, because if we're not in a position, we'd all be sitting a lot less comfortably.
Absolutely.
So there we go.
Oh, they did the calculations. There's a 1% chance that we could get relegated. On the ugly inside, they had a accumulator.
Oh, really?
As some sort of stats machine, and it said a 1% chance.
There we go.
Less than.
Is it wrong that 1% makes me really nervous?
The 1% always makes me nervous, man.
Yeah, I mean, we are the Saints fans that actually, if we're 3-0 up with 88 minutes played, we're thinking, might get a point here. Or at least I am.
Manifestation, mate. Just don't think about it. It won't happen. If we all think we're going to win 3-0, we might win 3-0. Just all positive, guys. If Bednarek scores, don't say nothing.
Exactly. And I'm going to finish with this comment on the screen. There's always a chance.
Yeah, absolutely. Chloe Southampton fan, FC fan, you're damn right.
Exactly. We're all going to go with Jack's 3-0 win on Saturday lunchtime. That's what we're going to do.
Hey, just don't put a bet on it, because then we will lose. But mentally think it.
Exactly. Brilliant stuff. Well, Jack, as always, thanks, man. This is probably the most football content for the channel you've done this week. You've worked a lot harder than I have actually this week. So
it's the first time I've ever worked hard for this channel, and it's I've not put work effort in a long time, so it feels good.
Absolutely. Well, thanks, Jack. Thanks for everyone joining us during the chat section, wherever you're watching from. Remember to smash that like button, subscribe if you aren't already. And me and Jack will see you Saturday for the watch along and for the post match. All right. Cheers, everyone. Thanks.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye.